Welcome back to the channel, guys, and today we're going to have a video on how to create your own tactics. Now, on my Twitch stream, I get a lot of questions asking to see my own tactic, which is fine. I don't mind showing my tactic. There's nothing wrong with that, no problem at all. But what I do suggest to people, and what I do suggest to you guys watching, is create your own tactic. Not only because it brings more enjoyment through the game, but also if you do get success, it is your own tactic, right? It's yours, it's what you've made, and you know it's no one else's work, and everything you're seeing on the match engine and in the game is of your own doing. So I've loaded up a Barcelona save just because it was quick and easy. It doesn't matter what team you are, these things still apply that I'm going to talk to you about. Obviously, the first of all is what I would suggest is create my own tactics. So I don't like to use these. I'm not saying they don't work. I'm just saying I don't like to use them because, again, this is basically the game's, in my opinion anyway, like it's just my opinion. This is the game's tactics. So like this is FM's tactics, not mine. Right, they're not mine. So I create my own style. It doesn't matter what formation you do. You can change that, clear that one, and you can move them around, right? So for Barcelona, I think what we're going to do is we're going to go for a 4-3-3. Eventually, we're going to go for a 4-3-3. Eventually, we're going to go... Yeah. We got there. We got there. Right, we got there. Okay. So, what I first look at is... the best players. So, I'll search by ability, right? This is obviously only a guide. The stars are only a guide, but they're useful in this situation. So, obviously, we've got a goalkeeper, of course. So, puts Ter Stegen in the nets. This is how I build my own tactic, basically. Unfortunately, Griezmann's loaned out, so we can't use him. Frenkie de Jong, we stick him in. I guess right now we'll probably throw him in central midfield. Just put him there for now. In fact, we'll put him on that side, I think. Pedri, we'll put him at the side of him. Aguero's injured, unfortunately. Alba's left back. That's just what I do. I usually go down this way. Depay, do we put him striker? I think maybe we do. Gerard Piqué, Sergio Busquets. Longley, maybe, we'll see. I think we use Araujo, he's better. Ansu Fati's injured. But I think we'll just put him in because that's the ideal team that I would like to use eventually. Gavi, fortunately, we'd put him on the bench, I think. I think I put Gavi on the bench. Right back, I think I put Sergio Dest in. And then what we can do is just to check out the best right wing. Dembele, yeah, of course. But they've not really got a right wing. I think I'd just play Yusuf Demir and sign him up. I think I'd just try and sign him up. Play him. Why not? Anyway, we'll just use that for now. I think this is the team that I would go with if I was Barcelona anyway. Obviously, Luke de Jong's there, but he's 30 on loan. Braithwaite, again, 30. Not really useful. I'd probably just get rid of those if I could. Bring the youngsters through. Right. So we've got the 11. Yeah, we've got the 11. I think if you've got three really good centre-backs, or if you've got no good wingers, then play a different formation. But with Barcelona, I think this is the best formation. You could even go 4-2-3-1 if you wanted and put Pedri up there, Busquets in there. That's fine. Whatever you want to do. I think this is the best for Barcelona. Now, the next question you have to ask yourself, right, after you've got the tactic, after you've got the players in said tactic and use the best players, I think personally the thing you have to ask yourself is, how do I want my team to play? So, do I want them to counter-attack? Do I want them to control possession? Do I want them to press really high and then when they do get the ball, play quite quick through the thirds, a bit like Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool? There's multiple different ways to play. There's multiple different ways to get that tactic style working in each of them. I personally, with Barcelona especially, I like to not just control possession, but I like to create good quality opportunities. I'm not after loads of shots, but I'm after good creative opportunities. So I'd take 10 shots, but 5 good chances over 20 shots and 3 good chances. Like quality over quantity. I like to see my team as well quite close together, like moving around quite a lot. If there's a gap to fill, they can fill that gap. Intelligent players. What I tend to do is I tend to sign players. If you look at Dest, he's very well-rounded, right? In fact, it's Barcelona, so most of their players are going to be quite well-rounded. But even in like lower leagues, I like to sign players with like 10s and 11s rather than a 15 and then an 8 and then a 7 and then a 13. Like, I like to sign players that can do not everything, but have a good grasp of the overall game. That's just how I like to sign players, if they're very well-rounded and complete players, whatever level they're at. Because you can have a complete player at level 2, it just isn't as good as a complete player at League 2 as a complete player at the Premier League, right? So, to that end, what I would look to do here is, I personally like to have a fullback that goes quite far forward and a fullback that likes to sit quite deep. Not deep, but not as attacking. So there's always him. I don't like to throw them both forward without having 2 DMs. I'd like to have 2 DMs if I was going to throw both fullbacks forward. You can get away with it if you want to throw them both forward. You can get away with it. I think you need a ridiculously good DM though. And I think just a 3-man midfield has to be fantastic. Now ours is, so we could do that, but I'm going to do it on the basis of we don't have the Barcelona team. I just clicked them because it was the team that I saw there the first on the loading screen. So let me get rid of the loanees that are not here, just to smarten this up a little bit. To start with, I'd go with my goalkeeper, and I'm not going to go with a massively high line, but I like sweeper keeper. Now you can put it on support, but there's an issue, not an issue, but there's a thing to consider when you're putting a player on support, defend, or attack, and I'll come to that in a second. Serginho Dest, I think what I would do with him is I would put him on wing back, but on support. Like, I don't want him to be like up there, but I don't want him to be down here. Like, I think he'll sort of sit around here, average position wise, right? Which is fine for me, not a problem. To that end, all these roles together as well, I should say, before we go into this any further, all these roles will fit together and form a picture. Because what I get asked a lot is, what's the best role for my DM? What's the best role for my right winger? There's no best role. There's a best role inside the structure. So a deep line playmaker in one system in DM might not work as good in another system. And halfback might not work in one, might work in another. So there's no right role, right? There's more effective roles I've found that work better than others, like the meta roles, but I think that's the same in any game. But there's no best, I don't think. I think each one, I've used a deep line playmaker in DM, I've used a defensive midfielder, I've used a ball winner in certain circumstances, I've used a halfback in certain ones, I've even used a regista if we needed to press really high up. I've not used a Sunderland Volante yet, I've not used one of those. I do need to test that out this year. But yeah, so that's what I thought I'd say. Some people might be sat there thinking, well, what's the best role for my left back? What's the best role for centre striker? There isn't a best role. Like if you've got a pressing forward or a deep line forward, then if you have a deep line forward coming to create with a game or a false 9, you need runners past him, right? You need people running past him. There's no good having a deep line forward and then people just sitting playmaking. There's no one to play the ball to because he's coming deep. They're just playing the ball there, and you're gonna get tackled. You're gonna run into alleys, and you're gonna get counterattacked, and it's just pointless. So let's start from the beginning. We've started with Serginho Dest. I personally don't like ball playing defenders. Simple reason is if you're a big team, ball playing defenders tend to smash the ball up the pitch, and the team you're playing against will be sat deep. If you are in the Champions League, for example, and I'm Barcelona, and I'm against Liverpool, maybe they're defending quite higher because Liverpool have got high rep, which means they'll try and force themselves onto you. So you might be able to take advantage of a ball-playing defender. So what the basic changes are in the ball-playing defenders are this here, they take more risks. So if you hover over that, it says more passing risks encourage players to play more low percentage passes and through balls. So they will try and catch the defence out by playing over the top. But if I'm playing against, I don't know, Eibar or Cadiz or someone at the lower reaches of La Liga, I'm not going to have space behind for Gerard Piqué to try and ping balls in, right? So I don't want that. I don't want that personally. It sounds brilliant. It sounds fantastic, the ball-playing defender. And there is a use for it, but in my opinion, only in certain I've said it again, certain circumstances. Why can't I say those two words together? So yeah, I would go central defender. The other thing that changes is if you click on that quick, you'll notice is they do tend to dribble more. you can actually tick the dribble more. When you go into central defender, it has dribble less by default, so it doesn't dribble with the ball. What I would suggest to counteract that is Gerard Piqué brings ball out of defence. So he will dribble with the ball anyway. He will come out. Look, it says increases the likelihood of a defender running the ball into midfield positions. So he will counteract that by I can't get my words out today. Sorry, guys. By running with the ball anyway. So he doesn't need to be a ball-playing defender. Now, you can do that if you want a guy to dribble out. He's got really good dribbling. Maybe you've retrained a defensive midfielder or a centre midfielder into centre-back, and he's got good dribbling. You might want to do that. But personally, I like a centre-back. He will dribble himself anyway, like I said. Araujo, he's more of an old-school defender. I don't know if you've watched him in real life. He's tall. He's aggressive. He's commanding, literally, like it says there. He's quite. I like him in real life. I think he's brilliant. But I personally like central defenders defend, and I like to give them traits depending on what I want. There's not much difference in ball playing defender. I wouldn't suggest a no nonsense one. I personally would never use a no nonsense defender. I just don't think it wouldn't fit in my system. Even if I had a defender that couldn't use the ball, I wouldn't play him as a no-nonsense defender. I would just play him as a centre-back. I find that it doesn't really need to be a no-nonsense. It sort of hinders you more than it helps you because he just boots the ball up. And unless you're playing for that and you've got a target man, a 6'6" target man, then yeah, maybe no-nonsense defenders for you. But not for me. Left back is Jordi Alba. So what I want from Jordi Alba is I want him to be gone. I want him to be gone. Just go, Jordi. You know what I mean? Just go for it. You crack on, mate. If you want, you can be right up here at all times. And to count, that's why I put Araujo here, right? So when you've got to think about this. So when Jordi Alba goes really far up the pitch, this guy's going to be sort of got more work to do. Now Gerard Piqué is getting on a little bit, so he's not got the agility, he's not got the acceleration to be able to maybe cover these spaces. He has got the anticipation, he has got the positioning. So that's Araujo. Gerard Piqué has got the positioning, 18, and anticipation, and the decision-making to go and do that. But I think physically, like I said, Araujo, he's better. He's not much better, but he's better, and I would put him there for that situation. Also, as well, my most conservative midfielder, which would be Frenkie de Jong, I think I want Pedri to be quite close to the strikers and the wingers. Pedri will be my most attacking midfielder. So I've put Frenkie de Jong on the left-hand side. We'll get into their roles in a second. But Frenkie de Jong is, in this situation here, he'll sort of be floating around. He'll be sort of like a link up a board to be able to like a springboard. So when someone passes him, he just passes it back. Easy. Little dictating the play. Pedri's going to be more dribbling. He's going to be more like in the attacking situation, attacking third. But yeah, Jordi Alba is going to be up here, right? That's where he's going to be in game. So let's put him back as a wing-back attack, in my opinion. That's what I would use him. You could even go complete wing-back attack if you wanted. It's up to you. But this is just the system. I'm telling you guys the thought process behind my system. You can copy this if you want, but again, it's not the aim of this video. It's not. The aim of the video is to make you think about how different players in different roles interact with each other to give the overall formation and things you need to think about. There'll be tips at the end of the video. But to start with, it's going to be what roles work together. So yeah, Jordi Alba's going there. Right. So Jordi Alba's going up the pitch. Ansu Fati then, we want him to occupy these areas. Because we don't want him on the wing, really, because Jordi Alba's going to be there. We want him like sort of drifting in centre. So we do want inside forward. Now, Ansu Fati's really good, so I'm going to put him on attack. And what I mean by really good is he's got good finishing, good off the ball, and he's just got very good attacking qualities, which we need him to get into the box. He's more of a striker than a winger, right? You could easily play him as a centre forward, so he's basically our second forward. He's going to be him and Depay are going to be getting most of our goals. I would think so in this formation anyway. That's what I would like to do. It's basically like back in the day where Messi played there, David Villa played there, and then Pedro played there. Right, Pedri didn't get as many goals as those two, and Yusuf Demir won't get as many goals either. But that's the situation where we're going to go. So the left-hand side, I think, is fine. Frankie de Jong is also going to be in this situation. And what I like to do here is, not many people use this role, but it's a role I like to use, and it's a central midfield support. It's just a very, very, very complete all-round role that not many people use, but if you look at this screen here, you can fully customize it. You can literally fully customize this role, right? Yeah, you can go advanced playmaker, but you can't make him take fewer risks. If you feel like he's losing the ball too much, or he's not attacking enough, you can't click get forward. You can't do it. It's limiting you in what he's doing. And also, I don't like to play with a primary playmaker because I feel that they get bogged down. I feel like if a team takes your playmaker out of the game, your team have lost all identity, because then they're like, what am I doing? I'm trying to force the ball to a player. I don't believe in playmakers this FM. I've come away from them. So I would go central midfield support on Frankie de Jong. And then you could, like I said, you could stay wider if you wanted. If you think he's not getting involved, you could stay wider. Maybe you could make him sort of like in a Mazzala type role, but not quite. You can, like I said, you can customize this quite a lot. What I would suggest to do as well is, when you build your tactic, go and play some friendlies against teams that are on your level. They don't have to be from your country; they can be from a different nation. And watch the game in extended or comprehensive highlights. And at random points in the game, I would pause the game and just see where people are in relation to what you want. Maybe your left back's losing the ball a lot. Why? Is there no one close to him? What's going on? Like things like that. I always tell people in my stream when they ask me to do a tactic, I would say, build it how you think it should work. You might get closer to what you want than you think you might. Some people don't build tactics, and I think they'd be better than they think at building tactics. But again, this really is not about the roles. It's about the thought process behind the roles, right? And then I would go Pedri. I like to use central midfield attack. In my opinion, it's the best. It's my most favourite role in the game. Now you might think, oh, it's not very extravagant, central midfield support and central midfield attack. But I'm not after extravagant. I'm not after that. I'm after results. I'm after output. I'm after my players playing the way I want them to play. And yeah, again, if you think Pedri's too central and you think he's not dragging enough players out, you might want to go stay wider. But I want this guy getting in the box. I want him linking up with the front three. And in my opinion, this role is fantastic. If you want, you can make him run from position. He's not holding you back here at all. Again, you can really do what you want. You can even make him trigger press more often. There's a lot of things you can do. For example, in a Mazzala, he's always going to stay wider. He's always going to stay wider. You can't change that, right? But a central midfielder, you can turn into Mazzala if you want. But then again, if you don't need him to be Mazzala, take it off. It's adaptable. I like it. That's the way I like to play on the fly. And some people might be thinking right now, but why not in game if you don't like that, right? You can just change to Mazzala or change to a central midfielder. I like to keep the same roles because of these here, the tactical familiarity bars. And that's what I'm going to come on to in a second, right? The tactical familiarity bars. And if you've got to this point of the video, because I've rambled a little bit, I understand it's a bit of a wordy video. I apologise for that, but it needs to be. It needs to be a video where I'm talking a lot, and it needs to be a video where I'm explaining a lot. So apologies if you don't like the longer videos, but it has to be that way. I can't chop this up into a 10-minute video. It just won't work. I'll leave things out. You guys won't get the full impact of the video, and it won't help you guys enough. So it might go on for too long. Apologies, but stick with it. Just put the video on whilst you're playing FM or while you're doing something else, and just watch it and listen to what I'm saying, because it's important and it will work, I promise. So the tactical familiarity. If you don't know how to get this on the screen, most people are probably clicking this button, and this is how they have their screen, right? I have this on at all times, this little button here. I think it's one of the most important buttons on Football Manager ever. Because you can see, I think a lot of people neglect these little bars, right? Some people might not even realise they exist. But if you don't know they exist, they do exist. Please take them into serious consideration. So if you hover over them, you can see what Pedri thinks and how he's going to work in this tactic right now. Right, we're in pre-season. So I'm going to come on to another bit in a second about how to get these up. But for right now, put your players in the tactic that you want them in. I personally would have Yusuf Demir as an inverted winger for this situation. I don't think he's good enough yet to be an inside forward. I don't think he has the finishing for it. I don't think he has the composure yet. But as he grows, maybe. But for right now, I think he's an inverted winger. I just want him to sort of float around in this area. Pedri's going to go past him. Yusuf Demir is going to sort of sit here for when Serginho Dest. They're just going to link up quite nicely. Most of our goals are going to come from this side. This side really is sort of just to keep it ticking along. We might get a few goals from this side, but the main aim is Jordi Alba and Ansu Fati and Frenkie de Jong. They're going to be the main players. We're going to have Pedri running from deep from this side. Hopefully, we're going to draw all the other teams to their right-hand side. We're going to draw them towards Fati. We're going to draw them towards Depay and Alba. And then hopefully the third man run of Pedri is going to get him behind there. And that is what I want. I want, like, back in the day, apologies for the Twitch alert there. I'm not live, so I don't know. Yeah, I'm getting follows. That's a good thing, right? Sorry, ignore that. It's a follow while we're not live, so that's good. I will take that off right now, so we don't get any more. There we go. So yeah, back to the video. Didn't anticipate a follow there on Twitch. So yeah, so back in the day, this was more of an Iniesta role. I grew up watching Barcelona with Iniesta, Xavi, Busquets. Xavi was more on this side, to be honest, and Iniesta was more up here. But for me, I'm going to put Pedri running from deep. What you can do with Depay is a complete forward. He can do a bit of everything, really. He can hold the ball up. He's got 14 strength. He can play people in. He's got passing. He's got the vision. He's got the technique. He can also finish himself. He can dribble. He's a bit of everything, isn't he? To be honest, he can literally do whatever you want him to do. He moves into channels. He tries tricks. There's a bit of everything from Memphis. So I would use that. And I would make him a complete forward because he'll move into channels. He'll run from position, and your players in your team are good enough to fill those positions. So when he moves into this channel, Ansu Fati will attack from deep. When he moves into this channel, you've probably got Pedri running from deep, or Yusuf Demir, or Alba coming up. Like, it's a very fluid formation where you can, like, what you need is you need runners from everywhere. You need people moving into different positions, and I, in my opinion, that's the best way to play FM. So for the mentality, I would go positive because it's Barcelona. I use these two most, balanced and positive. Again, play a game, see what you like, see what you don't like, change it based on that. If you really want to go attacking, it's up to you. That's no problem. But that's totally up to you. I like to short pass. Totally up to you. Again, these are all up to you. These things, there's no right and wrong thing to do. It's what you want, so I'll not really touch upon them. What I would say real quick is a few things, actually. This here, when possession has been won, if you're a top team and you are getting a lot of draws, this will be a lot of people. If you're getting a lot of draws, or you're getting a lot of games where you're having a lot of shots, maybe not as many on target or not as good quality chances, consider taking counter-attack off. Consider taking it off. Because your players will still counter-attack, right? They still will do it, but they won't do it every single time you get the ball. And sometimes what you want to do is, if you've got really good players, let's for example say you're Man City, you don't always want to counter-attack with Man City. Man City rarely counter-attack in real life because they've always got the ball. So if you've got the ball with Man City, you don't want to counter-attack because what you want to do is you want to get set. You want your DM to position himself in the other person's half. You want the midfielders to be positioned right up the top of the pitch next to the striker. You want your wing-backs pushed up. And that won't happen when you've got counter-attack set. You won't even see how your team really plays with counter-attack because they'll be constantly winning the ball, counter-attack, winning the ball, counter-attack. And it might work, but if you are in a situation, like I said, where your team are getting a lot of draws, you're getting FM'd a lot, you're getting 1-1 draws against teams that you should be winning, just consider taking it off and see what happens. You might thank me, honestly. You might be like, whoa, I never considered that. I just put counter-attack on every single tactic, Lewis, and I never even considered it. Seriously, try and take it off. See what happens. It can't hurt anything. But yeah. So just for the last part of the video as well, because I've talked a little bit here, 25 minutes, wow. It's flown. If you've stuck with it, you'll get the most out of this video. Thank you very much. For the last thing as well, the tactical familiarity. the best thing to get this higher up, right, first of all, is the role that you want in your team to play. So let's for example go Pedri, right, because he doesn't really know the role yet. He's got a long way to go. Click on Pedri, right, go to development, and then if you see here, you can't do it because he's on holiday. But in here, right, if you click on that AMC position, click on it. To be fair, I could probably pick someone that's not on holiday, right? Surely that's ridiculous by me. Right, we'll go Yusuf Demir. Development, and if you click on that, and all this comes up, yeah. And then if you give him the role that you're using him in the tactic, right, he will improve here. So he'll get to know the creative freedom in the team that you're wanting. He'll get to know the passing style. He'll get to know the marking systems that you're using. And the main thing that you need to do, right, is get them all full. That's the main aim. Once you get them full, even the tactics that are the most unbalanced will do better, right? They will do better. Now, if you've got a good tactic and full tactical familiarity, you are laughing. Seriously. If you're in a bit of a rut now in your save game, or you're struggling a little bit, or you're like a title-winning team and you're a bit struck third in the league or fourth and you can't quite catch them, do this. Adopt this philosophy here. Put all your players in the roles that you want them to use, right? Click this little button so you can like see how it's going on. Maybe use it at the next pre-season. Do this in the next pre-season. And then another thing is you need to check on dynamics. The team cohesion here. The team cohesion is massive. It is one of the biggest things on FM. What you want to do is get this up. And these little downward arrows here, what you want them to do is change from orange to green, and there'll be upward thumbs up. That's what you want, right? There's nothing else that you want other than that. And to achieve that, what you can do is you can go into training. You can find whatever you want. Click wherever you want, right? You can go into here. And if you click on match preparation, right, and you click on teamwork, if you read here, it says tactical familiarity and team cohesion greatly increased. So you can use a lot of teamworks. I think you can use 3 per week. Let me just check if that's right. It doesn't matter where you put them. I think you can only use 3. Yeah, now you can't use any more. If you take over you're taking over a team for the first time, put teamwork in your training. Try and get your tactical familiarity up as much as you possibly can, and use this here. Please use this. I understand people want to use this, but try and come away from it because you can see the roles on this side. Or if you want, switch from it. Make sure you don't forget this little button. It's so important. And try and make your players get as high as you can in tactical familiarity. Right? I guarantee you your results will go bang. They do. Every single time. I hope you enjoyed the video. I don't think there's anything else I need to cover. Make sure when you're building your tactic, like I said, train your players in the role that you want them to use. So like I said, for Sergio Dest, he's a wing-back support in my tactic. So make sure you're on the training, you're wing-back support. That's the easiest way to get this up, the tactical familiarity. It will go up otherwise. It will go up, but what will happen is the position, role and duty there, that won't go up. That will not go up. Those will go up, these ones, right? So if you want to train him in a different position, that's fine, but he won't fully understand the role you're wanting him to play in game. So it might come at a little bit of a detriment and a cost to you. But what I would suggest to do this is to offset. So for example, you want this guy to train as a complete wing back, right? But in the tactic you're playing him as a wing back support because that works better. What you want to do is you want to use additional focus, and then you want to focus on something that maybe, I don't know, composure and decision making, because that doesn't get focused on a wing back, right? Wing back doesn't get focused. The composure. Can you see the little blue line there? Doesn't show up. So if you click final third, there it is. Shows up. So you want to, if it plays in the under-19s, you don't need to do this. You can literally you can make him a complete fullback, and he'll learn more things, right? For development, that's fine. But if you're using someone in the first team, I would personally consider training them in the role that they are playing for maximum impact. And I've waffled on for a lot. I hope you got to the end of the video. Any questions at all, please ask, because this is one of my main strengths on FM. This is where tactic making, performances on the pitch, this is where I am best at on FM. This is my strength. So I know what I'm talking about on this area. So if you want to ask a question, please do. Any question is a good question. There's no such thing as a stupid one. Put it in the comments below. Like the video, please. And if you want to follow the Twitter, if you want to retweet my tweets on YouTube, just help us grow a bit, that'll be fantastic. You don't have to do that, but I had to ask you guys because it's I'm trying to grow the channel a lot, I'm trying to put a lot of effort into this, and if you guys could help me on that, that would be fantastic. And that's going to be the end of the video. Thank you for watching. Apologies if I waffled on too much. I hope there's a lot of good information, and if I've missed something and you guys are wondering something, leave a comment. And until next time, thank you for watching. Goodbye.